When I was young, my brother and I built a boat with our father. We spent several years sailing and exploring the Patuxent River. And then I met Tony.
Peter and I spent many happy times on that boat, and so when we got married, we built a larger boat and ventured out into the Chesapeake Bay and its many rivers.
We crewed on larger boats with dreams of sailing the world, but then life took another turn.
Today, we look forward to retirement with dreams of leaving it all behind. Come join us on our journey to sail the sea.
Welcome everybody. I think this is our fourth episode. Where we left off, we decided on the Sea-Wind 1260. That was a boat for us. There was nothing that we did not like about the boat. So we went from 1190 to 1160 to a 1260, and that's the boat we decided on. So now we have to figure out how we're going to pay for it, right? That's where the challenge is. Now, we're not financial experts by any means. I recommend that you hire a professional financial expert. We did hire one. He was a professional financial advisor, familiar with catamarans, and he was also a captain. And he helped us out.
And just because this works for us doesn't mean it's the plan for you, but this is the way we're proceeding. And we just want to share it as an option that might work for some people, or give you ideas too on other ways you might be able to finance a boat.
And, you know, when you and me were married, we really didn't have two wooden nickels to our name. And we kind of sacrificed in our life. We went to college where everybody else was partying. We ended up getting our degrees.
And then had kids right away.
We did build a boat. We
That's
built
true.
a boat because we weren't rolling in the money. But we did have kids. We raised the kids. We ended up going back to college.
When the kids were older.
And so we could get our bachelor's degree so we could get better jobs. And we both lucked out. We both ended up with jobs that offered a pension, which is unheard of today. And we saved. I mean, we saved a lot of money. We weren't frivolous. We didn't buy a McMansion when everybody else was buying a McMansion. We drove our cars until they disintegrated in the driveway, and then bought another one and repeat. We didn't buy expensive cars. We did not worry about the Joneses. We didn't care about the Joneses. We lived our own lifestyle.
We bought a small home that we enjoy, and we spent vacations with our kids, and we went out to dinners, and we did nice things, and we were still able to save.
We didn't live as extravagant
We did
lifestyle
not.
by any means.
But we still enjoyed ourselves.
Right, but we always saved. We saved for retirement. We always maxed out our 401k. I don't understand the people that do not. It's a huge tax write-off. A lot of times the employers contribute a matching, so we always maxed it out. And every year when it went up, we increased our contributions. We also had IRAs that we started up, and we saved that away. And, you know, for the young folks out there, whenever we got a raise, we always took a portion of that and put that right in savings, because you can't miss what you never had. And that helped out a lot. So we saved for retirement. We plan on living. A lot of people have this mentality that, oh, you could die tomorrow. You know, let's spend now, you could die tomorrow. We were counting on living for retirement. Now, we're not there yet, but I'm still counting on it, you know, and so we do have some money in various savings. The real issue is, how do we use that money in our retirement to get what we want to pay for? Now, a lot of people says, well, why are you dipping into retirement? You should bank that. Well, we have a different approach. You know, with COVID, we kind of realized that money's not doing us any good, just banking it away for a rainy day in our retirement.
We want to have a retirement that we enjoy while we're still young enough and healthy enough to be able to do that. We have elderly parents who have had some health issues later on, and we do want to make sure that we're able to enjoy ourselves before we get to the point where we can no longer. So we don't see the sense in waiting forever until later years, although we don't want to spend it all either. So we're trying to be wise about it and plan for how we want to enjoy our retirement. And as you know, the boat is the thing we kind of have decided we want to do. We want to go sailing again and enjoy ourselves in that way and spend that time with our grandchildren and our adult kids now.
At 72 and a half for us, the government's going to force us to withdraw from our retirement plans, and we might not be in the health to enjoy that extra money coming in. At 72 and a half, we might be dead, or we might be drooling in a wheelchair or something like that. So for us, we're kind of thinking, let's get the money now, let's live the dream now, because at 72, it might be too late. So that's our philosophy, that we're going to try to withdraw some of the money out of retirement that we worked, sacrificed, and slaved for over the years to see if we can purchase this boat and continue the sailing, the Chesapeake Bay, the coast, and maybe the world.
No.
Did we hit the Powerball or lottery?
No.
Are we getting a massive inheritance?
No.
No. We're just going to have to pay for this boat out of our savings, and we planned for it. We sacrificed over the lives. It is a seller's market out there. It's not like there's any deals for these boats. We looked at used boats, and they were just as expensive as brand new boats. There was one used boat that was over 4 years old, cost just as much as a brand new boat today. It's crazy. So, I mean, there's a lot of people buying out the boats, so there's not a lot of deals out there. We're looking at the 1260, and I think that's a 2 to 3 year waiting list for it at the moment.
One other point that we didn't make yet was that some people would say, in fact, we know of some people that have sold their home in order to get a boat and go live aboard. And the boat we're getting, we could certainly live aboard, but we don't plan to do that right away. We plan to spend a ton of time on it, and we don't really we're not quite ready to sell our home yet, but it is something we would consider in the future. Our plan is probably going to be to have a home base somewhere that's more like a condo or an apartment, or possibly a retirement community that would allow us to convalesce there in later years. So those are the things we're considering from the sell your house standpoint. We decided that the 1260 was doable without selling our home right away, and so we are going to wait on that.
Oh, but if we could have sold the house, the boat we could get.
Yes. The 1370 might have been a nice one.
The 1600 as well. But
yes, but
we'll see how that works out.
We would have to wait a while for the 1370.
Yeah, we would have to wait a long
that
time.
long.
So I think the 1370.
And we kind of feel like the 1600 was a little too big for us, which we've said in the past on earlier episodes, but another thing. So here we are, 1260, and we're looking at how to pay for it.
Now we thought about buying a boat and maybe putting it in charter service to kind of help us with the expenses. But the way it would work out is by the time we retire, the boat will be delivered. So I don't, once the boat's delivered, we want to use it. Right. Anytime we want. If we want to wake up one morning and go in there and go sailing that morning, we don't want to worry about the charter. Now maybe if we were smart enough and decided this 3 or 4 years ago, maybe we would have been able to bought the boat and put it in charter, so it would be ready for us when we retire. I don't know how that would have worked. It was not an option. We did not run the numbers for that or anything like that. So when we get this boat, it's going to be for our use, and we're going to use it on our schedule. And that's the reason we didn't really look at the charter. I don't know if the charter is a good option or a bad option. I don't know. Consult your financial analyst for that. Anyway, I mean, we saved. And we have money in our IRA's accounts, enough to buy the boat. The challenge really is taxes. Now we got huge tax deductions, so we never paid tax on this money to begin with when we save it. But once we start withdrawing it, then we have to pay income taxes on it. So we have to pay the piper. And we spend a lot of time discussing this with our financial advisor. Can we go to Delaware, and create some corporation that wasn't going to pan out? Could we do this? Could we do that? And there was really no escaping the tax aspects of our withdrawals. So we changed the strategy to say, okay, how can we minimize our taxes? And here's the strategy I think we're going to use. Again, we're not financial analysts. Talk to a professional and see what works for you. The C1 has a payment schedule. When we dropped the deposit on it, it was like a $20,000 deposit for the privilege of getting in line and waiting years for your boat to build. We did that.
To hold the spot.
Right. We're theoretically the owners of Hull 49 of the C1 1260. But then their payment schedule is there's 30% payment when the hull is laid. So 30% of your balance is due when the hull is laid, and then 20% when the hull and deck are attached, and then another 20% when the windows go in. I don't know why when the windows go in, if that's a significant thing. And finally, the balance, a 30% or remaining balance when the boat is packed up and shipped. Some things we did not know at the time is when we knew the C1s were built in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City.
Didn't know that.
But Vietnam is not a favored nation in the United States. So now we have to worry about import taxes. Mm-hmm. So you have to worry about the import taxes, you have to worry about shipping, you have to worry about commissioning. And we're estimating that 30 to 50,000. It's hard to really come up with it because we're still kind of years away. The other issue we had was because it's not in a favored nation, you're not going to go out and get a bank loan for these draws. The best we could do was find a loan that would finance the last payment, right?
The final draw, the final payment.
So the first 3 payments, you're kind of left on. Anyway, one of the strategies that we used to try to reduce our tax burden was limiting the C1 options. Everything on the C1 is optional. And when we went through our options, we deliberately left high-cost options off. And that reduced the total price of the boat. So when we signed the contract, we had a good price of the boat. Now, we didn't have any of the options on it, but when we got on the C1 payment schedule, that kind of reduced what we had to pay for it. And you easily can spend $100,000, $200,000 on options alone. The other thing is the options are constantly changing anyway, and since we're 3 to 4 years away, picking the options right now just to change them really didn't make any sense. So that was one strategy that we used. The other strategy was I can't take any money out of my IRA till I'm 59 and a half, and I'm not 59 and a half yet. So we had to actually delay the boat, take a later slot than what we wanted to. We had to delay it a year. So instead of like May of 2023, we're kind of forced to delay it to
2024.
May 2024. And the reason for that is, at 59 and a half, I can take a lump sum payment, a withdrawal out of my IRA each year, thus reducing my tax liability. One of the biggest things about taking the money out
over time.
Right. Well, I'm reducing the yearly incomes is what we're doing. Every dollar you take out, you owe taxes on it. So if I need $1 in my pocket, I can't just take $1 out. I have to take the $1 out plus the taxes I need to pay on it. So it gets really confusing. And I created spreadsheets that will estimate what we know what we make every year, right? We know what our tax rates are. We live in Maryland. It's a tax-me state. We live in Calvert County, so we know what our graduated tax schedules are, and we can run the numbers. And the goal is really to keep our tax burden down. I don't want to go over 40%, that jacks the tax rate up, so I want to keep the tax rate as low as I can. we're probably still going to end up in the 30% range as we make this draw. So when it comes time to start making the payments on the C1 payment schedule, we should have the IRA draws for that.
Completed.
Right, and I'll go through some of the scenarios that we ran through. Some people say, well, just remortgage your house. Well, yeah, we could. But, when you take a big loan out and then you're going to pay for it in retirement, not only are you paying that loan, you're paying the taxes on that loan. So let's say we financed a boat. Somehow we were able to finance a boat, and our liability, our payment every year is $20,000, right? Probably low. That's $20,000 of income that we would have to take out of our retirement. We would have to pay interest on top of that, but that $20,000 income is also now taxable. And first thing people are going to say, oh, well, claim it as a house. You can claim it as a house. That's true. This boat will qualify as a second house. But you need such a high percentage of interest payments before you can really start deducting it. And you might get it for the first 2 or 3 years, and then it won't make any difference because, our house is just about paid off. We have no other tax write-offs. So you're paying more taxes and interest tax rate. And we'll try to run through some of those numbers as well. So, the C1 1260, I think, is running 2 to 3 years. We delayed ours another year just so we can work this out. Hopefully, they're working with us on this. And then we should have enough to make the first 3 payments. And then when we get to that final payment, we'll take a look and see if we have funds available, whether we need to take a loan out at that point or whatever. But that's where we are now.
And it's kind of a choice, in my opinion. You're going to spend your retirement money that you've saved on your retirement.
And tax man is coming after you. I mean, the best you can do is limit your tax liability.
Over by spreading it out.
We're looking at getting the 1260, funding it through our IRAs the best we can, and hopefully we can make this work. I'm going to throw some numbers out there, maybe at the end of this episode, or maybe it'll be a whole nother new episode to talk about some of these tax liabilities. But people who want the dream need to really kind of plan for the dream, especially if you're young. Now, the younger you are, the better you're off saving. One other note I want to make is the prices of these boats are not coming down. We signed kind of just in time because the price of a 1260 actually went up $20,000. So keep that in mind. If you want to do this and you're looking to sign, don't be waiting for years because the price is just going up on these boats, and I don't see the prices coming down anytime soon. It's really a seller's market out there, at least for the catamarans that we looked at. Are we good?
I'm good.
We done?
I think so.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Tony.
And we're hope to be sailing with no agenda.
That's right.
We still haven't really decided on a boat name. We'll talk about that in later episodes. Anyway, as we upload some of these videos, we come to the realization that they suck. Our videos suck.
They're really bad.
I got nervous twitches in my hands, and the lighting is all off and everything.
And I'm looking at my notes.
So we'll promise to do a better job. The goal of these videos was to share our experience as a soon-to-be retired couple trying to get back on the boat. Right. And we'll do a better job with the videos. We don't have the boat, so our videos are probably a little bit boring. But if you like the videos, go ahead. Want to give us a second chance, click the like button down here.
Up here.
And,
yes.
And we can go ahead and continue some of these videos. Thank you very much.
Thank you.